Maiden are one of the most successful heavy metal bands to emerge after the initial punk refusal of all the forms of established types of music. We talked to Bruce Dixon, the singer of Maiden, and guitarist Adrian Smith.
Let's see, when did you decide to start your tour in Poland and beyond the Iron Curtain?
Well, because we wanted to tour there, and August was the only time we could tour there, really. I mean, there's nowhere else to tour in Europe because everybody's on holiday.
No.
So,
You told deprived countries they couldn't afford to go on holidays. Is that so?
Well, no. I mean, I assume that we were just told by the Polish promoter that August was fine. If we hadn't gone to Poland, we'd probably have gone down to Greece or somewhere like that, and all around there. So August we spent touring Poland and Yugoslavia and around France, a few shows in Italy and everything.
But if I'm not wrong, that's one of the very first tours after Stones played. I mean, talking about Poland.
It's one of the first big tours, I think, yeah.
What's the idea going in there? What's the point of going in there?
Curiosity, and also we get a lot of fan letters from Poland and the Iron Curtain countries. And when it was suggested that we went, I mean, we said, well, yes, why not? I mean, why not? We've never been there. Let's go. And it turned from the idea was to take a small show, and then about 4 or 5 weeks before we said, well, no, we ought to take everything, really. I mean, if we're going to go, we should go and do a proper job. So we did, and we went, and it was great. So we shall go back.
Surely it's not profitable to go there.
No, but we never really bothered about doing anything for money anyway, so... And we do make money, but I'm not entirely sure how. with this show on the road.
Maybe the T-shirts.
Yes, you can't sell those in Eastern European countries. No, you don't make...
You're not allowed to sell?
No. Not T-shirts, no records, nothing.
There must be sought after items in black markets.
Oh yes, black market ones, yes, definitely.
But obviously it's normal that Yugoslavs knew your music because
Yugoslavia.
How did Polish react to your music? Did they know the numbers? Did
Yeah,
they sing along?
yeah. I mean, Number of the Beast they were up on. Peace of Mind, obviously. See, what they do is they get the records in the black market, and then sort of bootleg it, and it goes around the country gradually. They get to play a few tracks on the Polish radio too, which obviously gets taped. So they tend to be about, I suppose, about a year behind in terms of, actually knowing all the songs from each album. So that Number of the Beast, they were fine on. Peace of Mind, they're a little bit unsure. The new album, they didn't know anything. But still the reaction was very strong. Just because you're there and you're playing and you're having fun. I mean, they were fabulous.
Yeah, but it doesn't make EMI happy, does it?
They're not right. I mean,
don't get Fiona involved in this one.
No, Fiona, I'm sure Fiona doesn't object to us being told. Do you, Fiona? No, you don't. No, I'm not slandering. I'm not slandering the record company. Ask me another question. I'll slander them for cash.
Oh, I see.
Is there an EMI Poland or something like that?
For a £5, I'll give you slander. For a £10, legal writs.
Oh, wow. Would you accept American Express?
Yes. Would you like to see my tits? Yes.
How big the crowd was there?
In Poland, anywhere between, did 5 shows, anywhere between 6 and 10,000, depending on the size of the venue. Hungary was 36,000 one show.
Yeah, that's quite nice.
That was huge. It was fabulous. Outdoors.
Do you think of doing a live album?
Yes, all 4 nights at Hammersmith.
Oh, no, I thought it's in Eastern European countries or something.
Well, no, because it was bad enough getting the equipment in and getting a camera crew in, because we made a documentary of it.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, it's being shown on MTV
yeah.
today.
Mm.
Yeah. It's an hour-long documentary. But yes, taking a mobile in there as well would have been incredible problems. Just with different shows every night, and also it was the first 5 shows of the world tour. We hadn't played for 9 months. You don't record the first 5 shows.
I'm going to practice a few times.
Yeah, you're going to have a
Yeah,
few
well,
shows.
obviously you were well rehearsed before you embarked upon the tour of Eastern Europe. But on the other hand, it's you are the more you play, the better you become. So, shall we say that English people or whoever in a couple of months are going to see you are going to get a much better show? It's going to be tighter.
To an extent. I mean, we never really do. I don't think we ever really do bad shows. We do shows that.
That was no implication
No,
whatsoever.
no. But no, I agree. Wherever you start a tour, you know, it's always going to be better 2 months in. The last 2 world tours we started in England, so England has always had a raw deal the last 2 years.
Never had that impression. I've seen you couple of gigs and never thought they were all deal. You know what I mean?
Oh well, in that case, the Polish people got great shows.
I haven't seen you this year, so I can't say.
But well, you see, the thing is, we've always started our tours in England, and people always say the shows are great.
Yeah.
Well, this year, but 2 months later, we know that the shows are better. So if the shows start out great and get better, then fine. So when we go to Poland, they thought the shows were great. We thought the shows were great. We had a great time. We went to Yugoslavia. We had a fabulous time, and we thought the shows were good. Obviously now things are just oiled a little bit better, a little bit smoother. That's all.
Well, then
I
it's
remember-
very good if you're televising, filming your show.
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, there's live
I remember
footage and everything.
Steve saying that when you play Yugoslavia again, which was this time, it will be a revenge tour. Because the first time, the band
Equipment
had
was all, yes. Well, then we took everything to Yugoslavia this year. I mean, you know,
the whole show that you present in
yeah.
England or
Yeah.
whenever in the world.
yeah, yeah, everything.
That's very fair. Yeah, well, what, I mean, did you have any prejudice towards people?
Prejudice?
Non-rocking people. I mean, were you apprehensive how they would react to something?
No.
Because, I mean, if you play in England, you know what reaction can you
No,
expect from
you
the...
have to take, if you go to a new country and
It must be a bigger challenge now,
You
come
go
to
to
think of it.
you go to a new country that hasn't experienced you before, you have to go with your eyes and ears wide open, because you don't know how they're going to react. I mean, even if they like you, you don't know how they're going to react. They might stand there and go like that. That might be a fantastic reaction for that country. You know, so you have to do a couple of shows and talk to people afterwards, is the way. But in Poland there was no doubt. I mean, it just went nuts. I mean, it's great. One of the best audiences in the world, without any shadow of doubt. Polish.
How has it otherwise been in the country, you know, compared when you're touring the Western countries?
Well, obviously it's a very poor country economically. I mean, fantastic people. I mean, I had so much respect for them after having been there, seeing, you know, the problems under which they have to live. You know, not being able to get this, not being able to get that.
And to queue for whatever they can get.
Yeah, and not even having access. That was the thing that got me. They don't even have access to most of the things that we've got in the West. Even if in the West, you know, you can't afford something, you can at least borrow it or hire it or go and get it or know somebody who's got one. It's nothing like that in Poland.
It's not?
No, it's not. You know, I mean, like a computer or a record or something.
Yeah.
You know, you can go to a friend and listen to it. You can go, but in Poland you can't, and that's, you know, even books. I mean, you know.
What about the organisation, you know, was it running smooth?
Oh,
Any
that,
hiccups?
that side was fantastic. Better than a lot of places in Europe, in Western Europe. The organisation, the humpers, the power, the staging was superb.
I suppose they treated you like VIPs when you get a band like you know, in Poland.
Well,
so
they were freaked
making
out
it-
when they saw 4 trucks. They'd never seen 4 trucks at half these concerts. It was like, and all this equipment coming out. It's like, oh shit, what's this? You know, what's this? You know, and you know, we were very nice as well, and we tried to, you know, go out of our way
To behave yourself.
you know, yeah. Well, no, because there was no heavy, you know, you can't go here, you can't go there. We could do whatever we wanted, and we just used to go out and go drinking with all the Polish people in their little clubs and everything. They were fabulous, great.
Now you're talking about all the gear. Is it true that you use 120,000 voltage in station?
120,000 volts.
I mean, that's what's written in it. That's why I'm
No,
asking.
Watts.
Watts.
Yeah,
Sorry,
that's
yes.
right, yes.
You do?
Yes, the PA, yes.
Okay, you'll use it tonight.
I don't know, it depends whether we can get it all in.
It's no need really.
Yeah, I mean, we couldn't fit it all in, yeah, I doubt. But for, you know, we've got, I think in Europe, I think we're taking out about 100,000 in Europe, and we go up to about 160 in America. We had an extra 60,000 for the big stadiums. But this will do, this system with 4 trucks, we happily do Wembley or somewhere like that with it. Not that we're doing Wembley, but
Why have you decided not to do Wembley? I mean, obviously you play 4 nights at Hammersmith Odeon.
it's 2 Wembleys.
That's right.
Um,
Do you prefer Hammersmith Odeons to Wembley?
yes, I do.
Small.
I think kids prefer it.
You get a better deal in any case.
I personally hate Wembley Stadium. I personally have I had some very bad experiences as a spectator at Wembley with the security and with bouncers, and I just thought that I wouldn't like to ask anybody else to pay £7 to be treated like a piece of dog dirt. So, you know, I'm not going to get donate any of my money to employ security staff there. You know, because I think some of them are animals. Whereas at Hammersmith, there shows all the time. The kids know what to do, what not to do. The security guards are friendly. You know, it's all very mellow. People can get on with enjoying the show. Much better.
So you had a better experience at Wembley. How do you find playing big stadiums in America?
Well,
I mean, obviously you cannot see somebody who is 100 yards down.
no, but that's different because England's a much smaller country.
So I'm aware.
Do you care more about the fans in England or, let's say, in America?
No, I think in America, if you went to play a small stadium, a small theatre, people would genuinely think you were mad.
Yeah, that's right.
For a start, if there are 10,000 people in Denver want to see Iron Maiden, and you announce one concert in a 3,000 seat theatre, there's going to be 6,000 people going to wreck the theatre because they can't get in. That is not the way to go and play Denver. So you might.
But
So,
doing twice.
well, didn't doing it twice.
Or 3 times in Denver.
3 times. You know, so you do 3 times. So the United States tour takes you 15 months. You know, I mean,
That's the point, yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's such a big place. You know, there's such a lot of people, and it would take you 15 months. It takes us 5 months at the moment, and that's playing 10,000 seaters. So
5 months American tour now.
yeah,
On its own.
yeah, on its own.
Let's go on to 11 months altogether.
Nicholas said you're doing another 11 months. How do you look at that prospect, knowing that
I look
you're
at it-
going to live out of a suitcase for another 11 months?
Well, I've been living in a
survive.
suitcase for 3 years.
Does it ever get you down? I mean, wouldn't you like to go back home?
Yes, I mean, I
Sit
go,
down, spend your Sunday reading the Times or whatever, Schools of the World or whatever, watch television.
yes, I mean, I do, you know, I'm very fond of home, but I accept that, you know, for the moment, I'm doing this. And tomorrow I'm doing this. The day after I'm doing something else. So if I arrive at home, then I'm at home. Yeah, I mean, I just take each day at a time. I try not to, I'm aware of what's happening, or what's supposed to be happening for a long period of time in the future, but I don't sit and plan and go, how many days till I go home, you know, because that's the way that you end up turning into a lunatic on the road.
Can you really work up enthusiasm to go and play a gig in 10 months' time, for example? I mean, after you've been 10 months.
Do you
I don't
change the songs at all during the tour?
Not particularly.
Sort of
You don't
boost.
shuffle them around or what?
Not particularly, no. Not particularly, no. I find I would derive less enjoyment out of that because playing a set is like playing an instrument. It's like play the same guitar. So you play the same piece on a guitar, okay, Now, you can perform that one song on acoustic guitar on the same instrument 10 nights, and every night it will be different, depending on what you feel like and everything else like that. Now, if it's a very, incredibly, say it's a piece, the classical piece, a fantastic piece of guitar music, in which there's many, many different ways of interpreting it and everything else like that, then it's only an excuse to say, well, I think we should rewrite it because I'm bored. It simply means that you're not approaching it in the right way. It's the way you approach the set. If you approach the set as being boring, it will be boring, even though it's the same songs. If you approach it, each song, every night, different. Today I feel different to yesterday. I don't might try and make today the same as yesterday. And when I walk on stage, I just walk on stage and I sing the first song, and the next song. If I feel pissed off in the third song, I feel pissed off. And if I feel happy in the fourth song, I feel happy. And that's the way to make it interesting. And that way it's interesting for the audience, because they're watching you just be yourself and relate to the song and relate to them, rather than you trying to be what you were yesterday. If I do a really good show a week ago, and I hold that show in my mind and I try to repeat it, I will always get mad, because I can never do it. But just when I'm feeling really shitty, I start to feel really happy in the third number, and I think, this is a really good show, what's happening? And you're just on a roll, and it just happens.
Is the show changing much from the previous shows? I mean, do you still have Eddie? I read somewhere that you're dropping it.
Dropping in where?
Eddie, I mean, from the whole thing.
No.
First of all, it wasn't on the record cover.
Yeah, no, we're not dropping it. We're playing games with people.
I see. Well, it's here tonight.
Yeah.
First time it's not on the album cover anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Or is it there? Well, I mean,
Maybe
Keeps
not.
changing, doesn't it? He keeps changing.
Changes every album cover.
Yeah, he does.
Well, the last 3 or 4, it's been
It's definitely
pretty much the same.
it's definitely on the back.
See ya.
Are you going up?
Have a nice time.
Sure.
Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay.
Is Fiona around?
Try for you.
somewhere.
She might be. Our kids are in there. She might be in there as
If I
well.
don't see her, because I've got to catch a train in about 10 minutes.
All right.
So you better hurry up.
Because my magazine in Finland, they were very apprehensive about the Eddie image. That they wouldn't really want to touch. But now they're more sort of.
Oh, I see. Oh. Well, maybe we did the right thing for once, though. I don't know.
For once.
No. I don't know if we can play games with it, you see. 5 years' time, you may come up with a really horrendous, horrible album cover. We'll be selling 6 million albums worldwide, and people will go like that. Cause everybody to have heart attacks.
Now you have somebody in your own company to compete with, Wasp.
I was.
Trying to do outrageous things.
Not really interested in competing with the ones. They come from a totally different different direction.
Yeah, they
That's
are
right.
OTT and
Yeah, I mean that's from the Alice Cooper Kiss. Really Kiss. I mean, it's Kiss revisited.
you've seen them live, obviously.
Never seen them live. No, I've seen videos of them live. And stuff.
They play in Finland this coming week, or you'll be playing in a month ago, I think. Yeah, you have played in Finland before?
Yeah.
What do you remember from there, compared to other Eastern European countries?
Finnish vodka or something.
No. I remember Finland. I remember being astonished at the number of people I saw standing around at about. We were coming back from the show, and the streets, as we went to the hotel, streets were full of people, all drunk, all fighting. And I was
Sounds like Saturday night.
Friday night in Finland.
yeah, and I was quite amazed. Because
See what sort of reaction your concerts get the Finnish people.
I don't think I've been to the concerts, no. No, the concerts were great actually. God, the concert in Helsinki was great. I didn't get much of a chance to stick around there. We were only there a couple of days. So
What about Japanese audiences? I mean, there was a program in the Tube last year with the heavy metal sort of revival of the kids in the park doing the impressions.
yeah,
How do you find playing there with small fellows screaming there with their eyes like
Japanese audiences. Again,
Must be
they have
weird.
their own. They have their own sort of traditions. They're very friendly audiences. I mean, I don't think there's a. I don't think there's a single malicious person in the entire crowd when you play in Japan. I mean, everybody just seems deliriously happy. Either that or they're crying.
Committing seppuku.
But no, everybody always seems, incredibly happy when we play Japan. And they throw wonderfully colourful things at you on stage. I mean, in America they throw hideous objects like Zippo lighters and coins and dangerous sharps, rocks and things, beer bottles. In Japan they throw little sort of, little rubber squashy tennis balls and balloons and paper streamers. And it's all oh yeah, hundreds and hundreds of paper streamers like typewriter ribbons and things. And it's all kind of like a sort of big carnival sort of thing. It's actually
Must be a bit weird in playing there. I mean,
it's quite nice actually. It's different,
your show is rather sort of get the people up.
Yeah, but they respond instantly. I mean, they all stand up and go, like that. And they respond instantly. That's the nice thing about it. So you're rather at a loss to know what to get them to do next. But no, it's
You've been touring and playing in quite a few places around the world. Where have been the weirdest gigs?
the weirdest gigs. Couple of shows in America were pretty strange. Because America is such a big country, it can be fabulous one day, and then you end up in a little hick town in the middle of nowhere, and the people are very strange, And some of the shows,
Roughnecks.
yeah, well, some of the shows we did a show in a university town called Charlotte, I think it was South Carolina, Charlotte, South Carolina, and the audience all stood up as we went on, and at the end of the first number there was total silence, silence, like, okay, next song, next song, next song.
You're working hard, nothing happens.
Strange, so in the middle of the show I jumped out into the audience. Nobody moved. Nobody came and tried to grab hold of you. They all stood there until went. So I went into the audience and was walking, and they all still stood there in rows. In rows, I mean like regimented, and grabbed hold of this kid and said, the band was still playing. The mic was on. And in the middle of the audience I said, would you mind saying a few words? I said, are you actually enjoying yourself or are you just dead? And he went, I'm having a great time. I said, glad to hear it. You're not stuffed, are you, by any chance? He said, oh, no, I don't think so. And I just went around the front row talking to people, going, what do you think of the show? I said, all right. And they just took it completely deadpan. Got back on stage. Into that number. And so we finished the show and all walked off puzzled. I mean, just beyond, couldn't make it out at all. And they came back, so they said it was the best concert they'd seen for ages and everything else.
Good.
Some sort of dummies.
They were university students, I mean, very peculiar.
Science students, perhaps.
I don't know. I went back there. Funny enough, I went back to the same town, not for rock and roll, just for see some friends. I was in a fencing tournament up there, and I went and to fence in the university gym there, and they were all very nice. Couldn't make it out.
We know that you're going for well on the way for a world domination. I mean, Depop will reform. Do you feel somehow that it would be some real strong competition, or? Do you find yourself in
no,
a totally
I
different
mean-
league or something?
No, I think we were totally different bands, really. I mean, I don't think that.
There should be none of us knows how they are going to be now after
No,
being
I don't
reformed.
think people are going to stop buying Iron Maiden records because Deep Purple have reformed, and I don't think it will really affect either band. Really, I can't see. People tried to make comparisons in the early days of Maiden, between Maiden and Purple, but I don't think those comparisons are really valid now.
No?
I don't think
I
so.
mean, how about the last number on the second side?
Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's anything like Deep Purple.
No, maybe not musically, but the new wave of British heavy metal, as it used to be known 5 years ago, and you were part of, is turning to the old wave. I mean, a 13 minutes,
13
45
minutes.
second
Yeah.
number. Isn't it very old-fashioned?
No, there's nothing old-fashioned about.
I'm not using it in derogatory term, you know what I mean? I mean, I'm talking about the
It's
concept
going
of a
back.
song, of that length.
It's Iron Maiden's first album had Phantom of the Opera on it.
It wasn't that long.
8 minutes.
But it was rockier, wasn't it? As far as I remember.
No.
No.
It's no more rocky than Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner. In terms of speed of playing and tempo, this is one of the most up-tempo albums we've ever done.
Yeah.
No, but the concept, I mean, long numbers like that, I still think it's,
It works. It works great. It's very exciting live. You see, a lot of the old bands used to take a 5-minute number
And
extend
improvise,
it to 20 minutes.
Don't tell me I'm old enough.
So, I mean, this is where all the bullshit and the bore is. Oh God, a guitar solo. Oh Christ, another drum solo. Whereas we don't do that. I mean, we play, the pieces and try and inject the life into the song as it's written.
There's a thing I always wondered about, again, new wave of British heavy metal, because there were not all those trademarks of old heavy metal, I mean, rather hard rock. I mean, there were not 5-minute, I don't know, Richie Blackmore going on, or 10-minute or whatever. You always worked as a unit, more than they did. It was more, a showcase for them in those days than it is for you. It is a showcase for you as a unit, as a band, but not for individual people.
And I think with a lot of those groups, their reputations were based on the times when they were working together as a unit. All the great moments in Deep Purple's history was when the band was working as a unit. Deep Purple in Rock, was the band's finest, that incarnation's finest album.
I think of the whole Deep Purple incarnation, the finest album.
Well, possibly, yeah, but I mean, Burn was also a fun, and that was the whole band. Now, at any point in time, the band diverges. Like on Fireball, you've got a couple of members of the band trying to go, this is what we really want, and we must do it. Well, of course, the whole band it's one-sided, and it's not as good. And Machine Head, all 5 of them pull back together, great album. And the live album is everybody working as a unit, but given working as a unit, off you go, Richie, right, come back, and that's why it's so great, because it's on the edge. It's on the edge. It's not, but the Deep Purple, the California Jam, that video is just extravagant. I mean, a 45-minute version of Space Trucking. But that was Deep Purple. They could be brilliant one night and bad other night, but that was the band.
What's your reaction of them getting together now and playing? To try to get together, try to make a comeback.
If it's good, it'll be great. If it's not, it'll be terrible.
But you doubt it, it's going to be.
I've got no opinion. I mean, until I hear it, I won't prejudge it. I should probably go out and buy it and listen to it. That's the only way. I mean, I'm not. What I hope is that it's good, because I'd hate to see my memories of a great band
Shattered.
tarnished.
Well, I'm sure they
Yeah,
worry about
really.
that, you know. How is your own music progressing?
All right.
I mean, what directions do you see it going?
If I can butt in as well, this is the actually second album, or actually the first album you've done with the same lineup.
Yeah.
I mean, was it easier to do it now
Yeah.
because the people were the same and you didn't have to bring anybody in and so on? I mean, did you communicate easier?
Yes, I mean this album was written and put together in about a week. We all sat around thinking ideas, but none of us actually. We didn't. The five of us sit down in a rehearsal room and actually learn the songs. That only took about a week to learn everything and put it all together, and so that was a big advantage. That's why there's so much energy on this album, because we haven't had to go through the process of, right, okay, we start, we do this, then we've got to do this. I mean, this is even before we learn the songs. Well, we don't have to go through that terrible process, you know, having to teach somebody all the old material and then teach them the new material, and then, you know, so it was very instant. And Nico and Steve were working together well anyway. So it was not really that much of a problem. Musically, I've got no idea. Well, I have got an idea where we'll go on the next album actually. But it's the next album will be different again. The next album's going to be a live album. The album in 2 years' time is going to be different again. To Paris Lake. I'm already looking forward to it with great relish, because we've got some great ideas.
Why are you laughing?
We've got some great ideas. I'm really looking forward to it. You know. I mean, I always enjoy seeing how the ideas turn out, because I have ideas now, which
Yeah.
in 2 years' time will turn out totally differently. So I always enjoy seeing what happens to them. It's always interesting.
You got credited for quite a few numbers in there. I mean, the hit single 2 Minutes to Midnight, it's yours and Adrian's.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is obviously a democratic band,
Mm-hmm.
although Steve Harris is the oldest member.
Mm.
Is there any fight? What is going to be the next single? I mean,
No.
does he try to say, well, it better be mine, you know, so I get the royalties or whatever?
No, that doesn't make any difference really, because I mean the singles royalties are not that much anyway. Not really, because it doesn't get released in America and we don't sell that many singles.
Come on, you made top whatever in this country with 2 Minutes to Midnight.
Well, yeah, I mean, well, I suppose it is, but I mean, we don't really,
But
we
compared
don't,
to
get a
our
top
we
dance or something.
yeah, I mean, we don't really think about money in that sense at all. I mean,
The money pours in, so why would you think? Right?
well, when the money wasn't pouring in, nobody thought about it.
There was nothing to think about.
Exactly.
And now that it pours in.
So why do we think about it now?
But I don't know, I mean, people being essentially greedy. So if you have a
Probably use the
fiver,
money, what
you
do-
want to have a 50. If you have a 50, you want to have 50,000. Don't you?
Well, no, because as long as everybody gets roughly the same. Obviously, if there's a huge imbalance, if there's one guy with no money and there's another guy who's very rich,
Mm.
then that's the way to create imbalances. But everybody in the band gets, you know, roughly the same sort of money. You know, obviously, in terms of publishing per album, Steve gets twice as much as me.
Mm.
So you got twice as much as me. It's no problem.
You don't feel unjust about it?
No.
I mean, why I'm asking you that?
I'm very happy with my contribution to the album. If I tried to force myself to write any more than was on there, I'd be dredging up, you know. Sure, I could write another 2 or 3 songs, and they'd probably be fairly mediocre. They'd be okay. It'd be okay. Probably a lot of bands would be happy with them, but it wouldn't really be that instant or something. And you know, it doesn't really, you know, bother me that you know, somebody writes, you know, a third of the album. Actually, it's fairly evenly distributed. It's about sort of 50-50, 60-40, whichever way around. I don't feel left out on the album, put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And the financial aspect of it doesn't worry me. I'm not that greedy. Everybody's very happy. Why should you let money interfere with what's essentially a creative endeavour?
I think it did split quite a few big bands.
Sorry?
It did quite. Money did split quite a few bands.
Yes, I think money and associated
Evils.
evils. Yes, money, associated evils, egos, drugs, and everything else. It all enters into it. I'd like to think we were too sensible for anything else like that to happen. I think we probably are by now. After having done this amount of touring for this amount of time, if we haven't turned into drug-crazed lunatics by now, I don't think we ever will.
I mean, I've noticed none of one had any of the drugs. I mean, you keep
No,
telling
only the photographers.
Yeah, I've noticed the photographers, yeah.
No, I don't take them. I don't indulge at all.
You don't drink?
Oh no, I drink and I drink a lot of tea as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite interesting that your band, you know, you have such you know, hard and aggressive images musically and otherwise, but as persons you are.
Well, you are, you see. Well, we can all be quite hard, aggressive people. You don't have to take drugs to be aggressive in terms of saying what you believe or saying what you want.
I mean, it's usually as heavy metal as boozing and living is associated.
Well, that's it. I mean,
And especially if you keep on touring like you, I mean, people tend to turn onto some other substances as a relief or as a, you know, enthusiasm booster or something.
oh yes, but that's the thing. You say if you do that, then you blow the concerts.
Yeah.
I can't perform
If you're not fully conscious
if I'm
of
not
the
absolutely 100%. If physically I'm only 80% on any given day, then mentally I have to try and be as alert as I can, which means no drugs, no alcohol, nothing before a show. A couple of cups of coffee, that's about it. An aspirin if I've got a headache.
Well, what's the secret then of the band being sort of relaxed? I mean, during 11 months and not.
How do you relax, in other words?
How do we relax?
Well, not to get tensed up.
Well, it depends where we are. We all know each other's habits fairly well by now. It's just like it's a way of life which we live, and everybody gets, you know, you have your little tensed up things now and again, whether it's because, you know, either his feet smell or, you know, he's eaten your cornflakes, you know.
There's a bad breath or something.
Yeah, but it's all on that really, really petty kind of level.
Yes.
You know, he ate your cornflakes, or I wanted to stop for a McDonald's, or you know, or something like that. And most of those things don't really occur now. We all have our own hobbies and our own relaxation sort of pursuits, which most of us hardly ever get any time to do. But we all know each other fairly well enough by now to avoid doing that. The main thing is, if every day the most important thing in the day is the concert, right? As long as your life revolves around that, then you've got something to measure everything else by.
Mm-hmm.
You measure, now I have a day off, tomorrow I have one concert, then another day off. That means I can go out and I can enjoy myself and get fucked out of my brain and drunk tonight, and it won't affect the concert tomorrow too much because I can stay in bed all day and get over my hangover, and I can still do a good show tomorrow night. So you go out and you enjoy yourself.
Mm-hmm.
The next day you go, I better call it and stay in and watch TV and have a quiet night because I've got 4 shows ahead of me. And the last night of the 4th show, You've got a day off the next day. You want to go crazy, you go crazy. You know? So, there's, you know, it's just being sensible. You can't take something out and not expect to have to give something back in return. You have to, you know, it's called growing up, being adult.
In the adult-orientated world, yeah.
Would you regard the London dates that you're doing next week as the most important? You know, critical audience and things like that.
No, we just go out and enjoy them. Because if you go out,
There's no different attitude to
not really. There's always a little bit more pressure, but you have to try and ignore it. You know, surprise yourself. Turn up at the show 5 minutes before you go on stage or something. Just ignore all the people coming up, you know, shaking your hand, telling you how wonderful you are. Just ignore all that. Just go down a pub or something like that, or go around the corner, or go and have fish and chips or something. Just go for a walk. Just ignore it all. Do whatever. And some people thrive on it. Makes some people feel better. You know, people come in shaking their hand, telling them they're wonderful and they're great before a show. It makes them feel better. So that makes them feel better than great. Personally, I mean, I prefer to be left alone before a show.
Then you better go then.
No. No, just for 10...
4 hours.
No, just for like 10, 15 minutes. Just immediately before I go on stage. I like to just go somewhere quiet and just sit down and just sit down. Just complete peace and quiet.
Just meditate.
Well, sort of. I mean, I sort of stretch a little bit before I go on because I find it helps me relax. And you're doing some of these ridiculous stretching things and everything, you know, stretching hamstrings and back and things like that. And while you're doing it, it's a kind of meditation because all you're thinking about is because you're putting yourself through all this pain for a quarter of an hour before a show, and it builds up your adrenaline level because your response to the pain is to produce adrenaline to combat the pain, and you're thinking, why am I doing this? Because I'm going on stage in 15 minutes. And I've got so sort of hooked on it now. And I tried not doing it for a show. And I felt terrible. I felt like I was at the sound check. I felt like I shouldn't be there. So I don't know how I ever used to go on stage without doing it before. You know, I mean, well, the answer was I used to go on stage and I used to pull muscles. I used to go on stage and used to go on so tense that I'd try and go absolutely crazy the first 2 numbers, and I'd come off with trapped nerves, pulled muscles, God knows what. I mean, you'd think I was a boxer or something, injuries I used to get. So now I go on and I'm relaxed and I leap around and I don't get injuries. I'm happier.
Let's hope you have a nice show tonight.
Yeah?
Do you look upon the people who look on you at the stage as a demigod?
Well, I don't know about that.
Well, I want to ask you, I mean, as an independent or rather non-aligned observer at the gigs, I mean, heavy metal gigs is always something of a religious experience. You know what I mean? There is something special about it.
Yeah.
It doesn't come on any other gigs, especially not with electronic bands, you know.
Yeah. It's always a lot of excitement and atmosphere because I suppose, you know, people wait for ages to see us. When they do see us, they appreciate it because we're playing around so much. We don't get time to play very often in one place. We're playing maybe once a year. So I suppose when we get there, people are happy to see us. We're happy to see them.
But do you appreciate this way that you tour the world, or did you prefer the old way when you were less known and less popular, or there was a less demand for you to play Australia and Japan and go for sake in America?
Yes, it's I think it makes it, you appreciate success more when when you're not so much in demand and you can't get a lot of work. And, I think when you do get success, you appreciate it more.
Let's see. Yeah, a very big question. After the initial, again, surge of new wave British heavy metal, it's become a lull. I mean, except you and Saxon, nobody came out of that. And at the moment, there is no new bands coming up. What do you think is so? I mean,
I think there's still plenty of bands around, but maybe record companies aren't signing them up as fast as they were in sort of 1980. I don't know. I think there's still plenty of bands around. I think there always will be. You know, just playing clubs and pubs. But I think you just get a lot of bands. Maybe they formed around that time, and it's always the same. You get a surge of interest in something. Everyone's doing it for a year, and then everyone sort of forgets about it. But I think a lot of bands with any sort of depth to them will last, maintain success, and keep writing albums and putting on good shows. But I think there's still a lot of probably heavy bands around. But maybe they just aren't getting the breaks that we had in 1980.
is there any ambition left for Iron Maiden?
Ambition? Well, we played most of the world, but next year we're going to go to South America. Places like that. So I suppose that's a big place we haven't been to yet. Plus, this is this going to be our first headlining tour of the States. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. We've still got a lot to do.
Well, what kind of places are going to play? How big are they?
What size? Pretty big. I mean, like sports arenas, things like that. We get 10 or 15,000 people. We're actually touring with Saxon and Fast Way in the States. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes, because it's only our third tour. Although we have spent a lot of time over there in the past 2 years, but it's our first actual headliner, which is quite unusual. Most bands have to do like 5 or 6 tours before they can get to that level.